Welcome to 11th edition, where we take an existing magic card and design 10 more versions of it. I'm one of your hosts, Tim.
And I'm Bradley. Today's card is Lightning Bolt.
So, Bradley, what's your first card?
Second edition, Strike Twice. This is set on the plane of Battle Bond.
Wow. So we've got Lava Spike here, except kind of double. So if you can't really knock out players in two-headed, really. So you're always dealing. Are there formats where there's a team that's more than just two-headed?
There's stuff like Emperor, where it's like 3 versus 3.
So I'm sort of dealing 6 damage sneakily here with Strike Twice. Makes me wonder if I'm like in a format where sometimes they're going to be, shielding up one player, but the other player is still vulnerable, and I at least get to deal 3.
Oh, like if they didn't share life totals?
Or if like you could somehow negate, like one person says, "Hey, prevent all damage to me until end of turn," or a circle of protection or something.
That's pretty sneaky. That's cool. Do you think this is too dangerous to do yet another Lava Spike for Modern?
I'm not sure if I'm qualified to answer that question, but
Yeah, we got to get the Masters of Modern on. Okay, what do you got?
actually have a card that's in a similar vein to yours. Third edition here is Commander Bolt.
Oh, so, okay. Shock or more. And of course, if you have more players, there's diminishing returns on the damage. So that's really cool.
Yeah, the idea being, hey, you're playing against 3 opponents. Well, you get to deal 4 damage with this. You're in some crazy 8-player game. Well, you get to end that game a little faster by dealing 7.
There's been commander deck techs or whatever saying like Lightning Bolt could be useful to include in the 99.
It seems like when you're figuring out the numbers that it could probably even be a little fiercer. I tried to build this card so it even works one-on-one in some weird format, but I don't know. Burn spells that work in Commander seem like they have a future, have a niche.
All right, this one is set on the plane of Ixalan. For 4th edition, Crossroads, because sometimes the paths are angry.
It's like if I've united the tribes, if I've ascended, I get to, split out 4 damage. That's pretty wonderful. I like that. I'm imagining a merfolk shaking a dinosaur's hand.
That's right. Yeah, the art that gets commissioned for this would be pretty hilarious, I would think. We've seen a couple cards in Ixalan. One of them is like Grim Captain's Call, usually because of how black and green archetype didn't really have any overlaps with the tribes. So it was kind of cool that in at least one of those colors, you can just care about having all tribes.
This feels like it's also kind of a power-up for those random EDH decks that have changelings. Oh, okay. You know what? In regular formats, it'd be kind of lame if people got like 4 damage to spread about for 1 mana. But in Commander, if you're playing changelings, here's your prize. You get to spread out a bunch of lightning. 5th up on our list, we've got Lightning Charge.
Whoa, that's a nice flavor overlap there. Oh, that's so cool.
You use some electricity either to zap somebody or to, really overload some machine you got.
Yeah, this gets my creative juices flowing for what I can use the charge counters for. I'm already thinking Darksteel Reactor, which is an artifact that says if you have 20 more charge counters on it, you win the game.
You can juice up your ever-flowing chalice. Ooh. Funnel charges into like an Umezawa's Jite, maybe Lux Cannon.
Yeah.
You get to turn your Lightning Bolt into destroy target permanent.
Yeah, I love the overlap of name, but with actual charge counter mechanical relevance. It's really great. I would say this home run here.
They're only going to get weirder from here.
Oh, speaking of weirder, coming in at 6th is High Voltage, set on the plane of Bablovia, where Unstable is.
This is wonderful. Costs 1 less as long as it targets a creature that's not sitting, standing. So as long as they're not grounded, like if they're flying in the air, if they're leaping, or in the water, this is beautiful. Perfect on card. I love this. High Voltage, great name.
Yeah, there's some competition with the pi damage and 3.5 damage.
Oh, you get to care about the art in like a whole new way.
Yeah, that art design space. Look out for that for your next silver bordered set.
For 7th year, I've got something a little wilder. I've got Karanos Waking Storm.
Oh.
So he's got kind of like a lightning bolt that he's throwing once he arrives. I was trying to think like one of the things we saw with a lot of the gods, and tell me if this is too weird, but it felt like because you could just rely on the god to do whatever it did when it wasn't a creature, most decks just don't really care if it turns into a creature or not. They're just using it as an enchantment that, once in a while turns into a 5/5, and that doesn't usually matter. I thought maybe the reverse, making it like kind of inactive until you summon it until your devotion's high enough. And now you actually get something cool. Might be a nice alternative.
Yeah, you're right. I see Thassa, just bounced, exiling and returning creatures. Just that portion is the most important part. I enjoy that's the only like thing that Karanos is doing here is casting bolts. Otherwise, it's just a 6/5.
Yeah, it's a little different. All right, hit me with another card.
Also, multicolors, the 8th edition, Lightning Speed, is set on the plane of Shadowmoor.
So you get to sort of trample over.
Think of the Thorn Elemental,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that type of stuff. Trying to make it a lightning bolt, but in a sneaky way for green.
Yeah, this is cool. Hitting your opponent or a planeswalker they control is like really important for whatever the set's doing. Like if you had a spectacle card in your deck or some other reason you really need to burn your opponent down, this could be pretty cool.
It's interesting that like if they have no blockers, this doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, the price you pay for it being a hybrid card is pretty steep compared to Lightning Bolt. But yeah. I don't know, still pretty useful.
Yeah, you got to be careful giving green a lightning bolt.
9th up, I've got another kind of twist here, Call Lightning. So I took Lightning Bolt's flavor text. That's the big connection here.
Okay. So you care about any part of Lightning Bolt. That's pretty hilarious.
So you get to get Lightning Bolt with this, but there are a lot of other things that you can get with this card. You could get like Omnath, Locus of Rage. You could get an Inferno Titan. You get Drakaseth, maybe Zakama. So you could build a deck around making sure you're stacking plenty of cards that say deal 3 and damage on.
Already you can anticipate people saying this is a Call Lightning deck.
It's a mixture of cards. It's not a homogenous strategy, but there's a lot of value to be gained off this card.
So this is a pun off of Ball Lightning, right?
Yeah, and Call Lightning is like often a Dungeons and Dragons spell.
I was going to say, if it were a reference.
Yeah, Ball Lightning will not be grabbed by this.
That's funny.
Ball Lightning won't return your calls. All right, I think you're up to your last card. Is that right?
It's my final card. It's one of my favorite planes. On the plane of Fiora, where conspiracy takes place. For 10th edition, Elected Shock.
Some sweet votes matter technology going on in here. You hold this back and you get to really blow something up if they don't agree with you.
Those political retribution type of things where it's like, I could be convinced to not hit you as hard if you vote my way.
We got a little bit of Galvanic Blast mode where we start with Shock and upgrade to Super Bolt. You trick someone into voting against you so that you can blow up their 4-drop.
There's an interesting thing with voting. Sometimes people will want to try to help you out by voting for something you didn't vote for. Like the card Council's Judgment. Each player votes for something that you don't control. Someone's trying to help take out a creature that could kill you, and then you're like, okay, great, thanks. But also, I'm going to still deal 4 to you.
Pour salt on the wound. And like we talked about with Commander Bolt, there's probably room to make Lightning Bolt a little stronger in multiplayer.
Okay, you've got the final card, Tim.
Alrighty, we're going to go weird for this one. We're actually traveling back in time to an alternate past.
Whoa.
Last up, our 11th card today is Lightning Bolt again, but green.
Whoa. Whoa, settle down here. So this matters on artifact creatures, land creatures, and flying creatures?
If we're talking about the world as was created by our current timeline. But you got to imagine a different universe where it's possible to deal damage to inanimate things. Give lands 5 toughness, give an artifact different amounts of toughness, and if you can deal damage to an artifact, you blow it up with lightning.
That's cool.
It's usually sort of like a forest druid D&D spell, so why doesn't green get it? Well, in a different universe, maybe they would have.
Yeah, I love it. I can already imagine the glassware, something in a beaker that only has 1 toughness. Oh, yeah. Aether Vial, that thing is fragile but powerful.
You could have other stuff that is pretty resilient to damage. Maybe your Basalt Monolith has 8 health, but your Bottle of Suleiman has 1 health.
Whew. I wasn't ready for that one. That went beyond.
That's the magic here of 11th edition. Just try to imagine different ways that a certain magic card could have been made.
Thanks for joining us for another 11th edition.
If you've got your own version of Lightning Bolt or a request for the next 11th edition, comment below.
You can also reach us at Magic Design Cast and on the Beacon of Creation Discord.
Thanks for watching.